everyone, it's Lisa from My Dreaming Soap. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a wave soap. Not that sort of wave, a sea-themed wave. Now, unfortunately, I don't know who was the first person to ever do a wave soap, so I can't give any sort of accreditation to anyone. But if you do a search, you'll see it's a reasonably common design and you'll find a number of them around. But I do think it's a really brilliant design and it gives such an amazing bar of soap. In my video, I'm going to give you lots and lots of hints and tips, and I'm going to explain exactly how I make my soap. So hopefully you'll feel inspired enough to maybe give it a go yourself. Come on, let's go and make some soap. I thought today what I'd do is talk a little bit about how I plan my soaps and how I work out how much soap I need to separate off to make the designs that I want. So first of all, I always start up by drawing a design into a little square or a rectangle that actually fits in with the size of the bar of soap I want to make. So as you can see with mine, my standard is 7 centimetres wide by 8 centimetres tall. So if I work the area of that out, I can see that in total my area is 56 centimetres. Now I'm not going to bother doing a volume because it's going to be the same all the way through, so let's not confuse it by trying to turn it into a volume. Then I consider each individual part. So let's start about the shore base first, that bottom area of the sea where I want those two brown colours. If I go through and measure that, in my design that comes to 4 centimetres. So I know for that area, if I go 7 centimetres wide, because it goes all the way across the bottom, times my 4 centimetres, now that would have given me a square all the way across the mould. Because that's pretty well a triangle, if you then times it by a half, that will give you the area of that triangle. And if we work that out, that tells us that that triangle is 14 centimetres in area. So I now know my sort of sandy bottom, what I need for that. Now the other shapes are quite complicated, so I'm not going to try and work out the precise area of those. I'm just going to have a look at them and think about dividing up the rest of the space that I've got. So I can see that I've got 42 centimetres of space left. And if I divided that into 3, that would give me 14 centimetres each for those 3 areas. Now when I look at that, I can see that my sky bit and my top bit, you know, that sort of tealy aqua bit of the waves with the white in, they're kind of roughly the same size, whereas my darker blue bit of sea at the bottom there is a little bit smaller because it's covering less of the width of the mould. So therefore I would just go through and divide it up to something that looks kind of sensible. So I might just say, for example, well, if I give my sky and my top of my sea, my top waves, let's give those 16 each rather than the 14, so let's make them slightly bigger than a third, and then that will leave my dark wave at the bottom with 10. And overall now I've used up all of my 56 centimetres of area. And now I can just turn that into the percentage of my total batter that I want to use. So just working out a straightforward percentage, I'll just do it for the first one. So I know for my sandy shore, I want 14 out of the 56. So if you just did your 14, divide that by 56 times 100, that would tell you that 25% of your soap batter is going to be used in making the shore. So a quarter of your soap batter. So I know that's 25%. And if I just did exactly the same for the other elements, I would see that for my sky, I want 29% of my batter, and that aqua colour bit of sea, I want 29%. And then for my dark blue bottom bit of my sea, that's going to leave me with 17% of my total soap batter. And then when I've done those, I just apply those to the normal recipe that I need to fill my soap mould up. And I use those figures to work out the amount of colourants to use at a rate of 1 teaspoon per pound of oils. And I also then use it to split out my batter when I've actually emulsified everything and I'm getting ready to do the separate parts. I'm going to start my soap by making the sandy bottom of the sea base. I'm actually just using one colour, it's the black gold from Mica Mama, and I'm just going to lighten some of it with some titanium dioxide. I've weighed out exactly 1/4 of my total oils and my total lye, and I'm just going to bring those together and stick blend until they're emulsified. And remember, when you're looking for emulsification, you're looking at that point when you can lift up your stick blender and look at the wide part on the bottom and see that you've got a solid layer of a consistent colour over the bell of that stick blender without the oils starting to break apart. I want my sandy base to be 2 colours, so I'm just going to split my soap batter into 2 even parts. Then I'll add just the black gold mica to one of the portions, and into the other one I'm going to put slightly less of the black gold mica and a touch of titanium dioxide to get a lighter colour. Now you may feel that you want to use 2 different types of mica, a lighter one and a darker one, whatever. The only reason I'm doing it like this is because I'm restricted under our regulations that I can only add 4 colours as an additive into my soaps. So for me that'll be my black gold, my 2 blues for the sea and my titanium dioxide. The fragrance I'm using is Bermuda Triangle from Sentimental. And I'll weigh this out based on the oils in each of the proportions of my batter. And then once it's fully incorporated, I'm going to pop those into 2 squeeze bottles. Now you know I love a quick tip, so here's one for you. Just before you put your finger over the end of your squeeze bottle to shake it, squeeze the squeeze bottle and then cover it with your finger. And what will happen is as you release the squeeze bottle, it will then suck the batter back down into the bottle rather than squirting that annoying little bit out of the end and all over you. Now if you're one of those people that doesn't like using squeeze bottles because of the washing up afterwards, you could get a very similar effect by just pouring out of 2 jugs and pouring a very thin stream. So I'm just going to prop my mould up so that I can get the angle to the base of my soap and then just alternate squeezing my 2 colours into the bottom of the mould. And I'll just keep alternating the colours until I've used all of that batter up. And then I'll leave that base layer to set up a little bit so that when I pour the sea onto it, it doesn't break through into that base. And once it is a little bit set up, I'm just going to go through and texture it a bit so that it's not a completely flat bottom layer. So let's now move on to making that sea. I'm going to use royal blue from Mineral Makeup Ingredients for the dark wave at the bottom, and I'm going to add some titanium dioxide into another portion of royal blue to make the sky at the top. And then for my middle wave, I'm going to use Turquoise Delight from You Make It Up. And again, some titanium dioxide to add the white sort of spumy bits at the top of the waves. Now to get the wave effect that we want, we need to mix all of the remaining batters up together because we need to pour them very quickly one after the other. This is definitely not a layer technique where you let one layer set and then pour the other afterwards. So I'm going to mix all of my remaining batter and get it literally just to emulsion, no further. I'll divide my batter into the proportions that I worked out with my plan. The only difference that you'll see is that with my turquoise wave section, I'm going to pull off 100 grams of that batter and pop it into a squeeze bottle and colour that white. And then when I'm happy that my colours are nicely dispersed, I'm going to add my fragrance oil to my bottom layer only. And then that can be poured straight into the bottom of the mould. Now, working quickly, because I don't want that bottom layer to set up, I'm going to add my fragrance oil to my turquoise layer and also the white in my squeeze bottle. Now, the type of pour I'm going to use has been around for a while, but Terry from Tree Marie Soapworks really refined the pour and has called it the pointy layers technique. So the idea is that you do actually get your batter to break through into the row below. You need to get your jug moving before the batter drops from the end, because you want it to break through, but you don't want to create a drop swirl. And then as you make your passes across the mould, you need to leave little gaps exposing the batter layer below, and it's these that will then push through and cause the points and make your waves for you. And then after you've done a few passes around the pointy areas that you want, you can finish off and just cover up the rest of the row. And then once I was happy I was away from the dark blue waves, I started adding some white to my turquoise batter to start to bring in that spumy sort of foam that you have at the top of the waves. And then just carried on with the pointy layers technique. And then once all of my turquoise batter has gone, I just finished off the top to get the crest of the waves in white and finish off that white batter left in the squeeze bottle. And then to finish off with the layer that's the sky, just taken my final bit of blue batter, going to lighten it with some titanium dioxide and add in the fragrance oil. Now this time as I pour, I'm going to use a similar technique, but I want much more dramatic rolls in my waves. So as I pour it in, I'm going to pour it in a much thicker pour and leave bigger gaps between to get those rolling waves. And then once I've made a few passes and I'm happy I've created some big waves, I'm just going to go over and fill in the rest of the row and create the remainder of that sky. And then a little bit of clean up, and then I'm just going to go back into my jugs with that white and the turquoise colour and lay down some very thin lines on the top of the batter. And then I'll use that to give me a sort of wavy type swirl on the top of my loaf. And then as normal I'll pop it, so I'll wrap it, pop it in the oven, turn the oven off as soon as the soap goes in and leave it there overnight. I unmoulded the soap about 36 hours later, and here goes the cut. Fingers crossed for some good old waves coming in. Now I'm not going to go through and cut the entire loaf, I'll just cut a few of the bars and then I'll leave you to have a look at some pictures of the finished soap. I hope you like this soap and that you've enjoyed the video. If you have, it would be great if you gave me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see what I'm making in the future, why not subscribe to my channel and maybe ring that notification bell so you'll get notified each time I upload a new video. If you've got any questions or comments, then please leave them in the comments section below. I'm very good at answering any comments, so I will get back to you. Thanks for watching everyone. Happy soaping!